I never know when you're gonna come in with me, and so I try to modulate my voice to match yours. Anyway, hey guys, welcome to the Bible.
Today.
Okay, yeah. Welcome to the Bible Study Girl podcast. This is Sarita. You probably know me as Bible Study Girl, and the guy that I'm matching voices with is none other than Bible Study Brother, the executive producer of this podcast.
Wow. What's good, people? It's your boy, Icarus Gray, also known as Bible Study Brother.
So many names.
Yeah, it's intense. And we also had a discussion about names.
I know, I heard that part.
In a previous podcast.
Can I call you Kanae? I've called you Kanae. Should I call her?
Well, you know who I am.
Yeah,
or you may not.
The other lady voice that you hear is my sister-in-law, Kanae.
Hi, everyone.
Is that how you want to be referred to?
You can refer. You know what?
Okay.
If you call my name,
you will answer. Okay. So today,
all right. So whatever you want to call, whatever you want to say, whether it's Prima Diva or Gray Rose, because that's what he calls me, or Kanae.
Okay. No. You will not call her Gray Rose. That's mine.
That's his and his only. Clearly.
Oh, that's news to me.
Listen, no one else shall ever.
Not another one.
Not
another one.
Not
okay.
ever.
All right.
Okay, so why has Kanae hopped on with us today? Because we're going to talk about marriage. What better time to talk about marriage than when you are quarantined with the person that you love and that you have made a covenant with for life? This is the best time to talk
Covenant
about.
Bay.
Yeah. This is the best time to talk about love and relationships.
Yeah, because usually right about now, everybody would be getting married. It's got to be
true.
June.
Yeah, it's
wedding
season.
Except not.
Yeah.
Modified wedding season.
Modified. Lots of virtual weddings and elopements and such going on. Bible Study Brother has talked individually about your meeting, your loving, your breakup, and then your back together.
Yes.
But we've never talked to both of you guys at the same time to get a clearer perspective of what's going on.
I just thought about that, no?
In the Gray household. We have not. Ooh. We haven't heard your voices together. So this is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, when you met this fool in high school, did you feel like this was your forever?
No, like I didn't feel like he was my present, like my right now. I was like, who is this dude? Like, what? And I mean, I thought he was cute.
To the left.
What?
Did you play me all the way to
I
the
did. I'm not even upfront about that. I was not giving him the time of day. I liked one of his friends.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
I did not.
Boom. I didn't know that. So he didn't put a sound effect on that. He should have.
I did not. I was not looking for him. And he dated one of my friends. I was going to say a couple of my friends, but one of my...
No. Let's start there.
We could start there.
We're going to start there.
Because I was... Now, I will say this. I was conflicted because initially I was not looking for him, but we started hanging out a lot more because we had the same friends. I was really close to Brittany, my cousin, and that's who introduced us. And we were like hanging out in the same area, like before school every day.
Yeah.
So eventually at some point he started walking me to class my freshman year, and we just got to know each other. And I realized that he was serious when he said he liked me. Like, he was committed.
Yeah. Full court
he was
press.
all in. And I was like, oh, okay.
And I don't do that.
So when he started dating my friend, she asked me once while I think we were at her birthday party sleepover. She asked me if I liked him. I was like, yeah, I think I kind of do. And I'm pretty certain I just left it at that because I didn't say nothing else. Okay. But I found out later that she broke up with him.
Oh.
And I didn't know that. And I was like, oh no. Like, oh my God. And I think to sum it all up in terms of our first meeting, I was having horrible effects on this young man without realizing that I was ruining his life. Okay. And so, yeah, that's the reality of our first few interactions.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
I'm amazed that he held his peace as long as he did.
He's just doing it because he wants me to dig a hole over here. Is what it is. So
no.
Bury
I'm letting her
me
do her thing, which is over. Like, because what she started to saying to you all was, I didn't want him at all. Now, let me tell you, it's not that far into the semester that I dated her friend.
Okay.
Because it's ninth grade.
No, it would have been
Wasn't
winter.
that
It would have been
far.
like closer to the like. So
Again, not that far.
it was
Okay.
far enough in.
Not interested.
So from
at all.
It was a few
your,
months.
we've heard from her, from
Yeah.
your perspective, she was everything.
Yes,
Okay.
immediately.
Immediately.
I saw
First
her.
sight.
I said, bleep, you fine.
Did you say it out loud or you just
Yes.
thought it?
Oh,
No,
I
he
said
said
it
it
all the
out
way out
loud.
loud.
Real talk?
Yes, and that's not me. Then, and Serena knows it's not me. And then the next thing I said, directly following to her cousin, whom I love, hello Brittany, was, y'all can't be related.
They look alike.
Yeah.
Not
They
at that
resemble-
moment.
Not at that
Apparently
moment.
not.
I said, there's there's something glowing off this one.
Oh, so you knew.
I mean,
I would have been weirded off by what he said to me, Kanae. Like,
It wasn't
sir,
even that. It was just that I was still very self-conscious about a lot of things. I had a very particular idea of what I thought my forever would look like. And it was
wasn't
not
him.
No.
Okay.
No, not initially. And so I was like, but like I said, I thought you was super cute. I just was like, no, I need like, I feel like I'm supposed to be with like, I don't know, some strange version of a jock that's a nerd. Like I feel like it's something else.
Yeah.
You know.
Not this guy.
Yeah, but I didn't know him either. So I didn't really, and I think I did know that you and Brittany had dated, so that was weird. I was
like
like,
fifth grade, yeah.
that's usually a no-no.
and
Like
technically
you don't.
it wasn't even like a real,
do
like
that.
for us, it
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
even
not real.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay, whatever.
No, I get what you're saying.
Preteen girls and teenage girls, they don't care about that. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it was kindergarten. If I dated him and we're friends, you don't date
Do that,
him.
yeah.
Like so, yeah.
it
Yeah.
boiled
It-
over
it's-
later.
Yeah.
the
Well.
great news is it all worked out in the end, guys, because you eventually, after your breakup, if you want to know about their breakup story, please listen to Bible Study Brothers Faith Walk, because he
Gets in
dug
there.
deep, child.
Yes.
And I had to pull him back out the hole. We not talking about the breakup because
It's been talked about.
it's been talked about,
At
and he
length.
might not come back. We need for him to be present.
Lapses be happening.
We need for him to be present.
I mean, yeah.
So you guys get engaged. Exciting times. Then you get. I mean, I know we was. Me
That's
and you
what I
was
know.
deep.
Tumultuous-
Tumultuous times.
It was tumultuous
So it
times.
wasn't
Let's
like-
talk about engagement.
It
was
was
that
horrible.
stressful?
Oh, because I guess that would have been no. Engagement would have been. We were still good.
We were great.
because
for like
we
a week
were.
or 2 weeks.
no,
because-
not for engagement. Like 'cause-
No, I'm saying when we got engaged, because when we were engaged in November, the day after your birthday, we got engaged. So that week, it was good. The week after that, it was probably still good. I feel like not more than that. And I apologize, audience. I'm terrible with time. I'm not gonna lie about it. We started talking about the actual process of getting married, like the actual wedding.
I mean, that was still like a month and a half after.
think it was that
No,
long.
I mean,
because
we
y'all
dove
were
right
talking.
into it,
Y'all were
but-
talking about wedding before the
Oh
engagement.
no! Now I get what you were
actually-
saying. And
once
then that
you
was
put
the whole,
that
and that's
ring-
when everything started.
So yeah,
kinda
no. Everything
changing.
was. It was more of a like. Well, now we have expectations on the things that people had expectations. Like where I felt most comfortable, most times has always been when it's just us, and it's not like because the thing that was most difficult about convincing my good wife to be with me in the first place or any of these things was I was like, there's something in you that just makes me feel different. It makes me feel confident. It makes me want to succeed, do things differently. And the thing that was always difficult for her was convincing her of, like you said earlier about the Jack, like, no, that's not the image of who and what we are. Because I remember the moment that we got together, and I always tell this story. It was a long time. It's just we've always had these moments where God just kind of steps in, like, y'all doing too much. Just it's way simpler than this.
Yeah.
It's like I've given you every indication that you're making choices. So for 2 years that we had been friends and all this other stuff, and I had just done everything I could. like I was writing poetry. I was I walked her to the bus every day. Didn't matter where it was. We always had a hug before she left. Like, I don't know when I decided to do that. It just became a normal thing. Like, I can't remember the first time I was like, I'm going to walk you. Hey, can I have a hug? It's just.
I don't even think you asked me for a hug. I feel like I hugged you.
I don't know. Might have. I don't know. But the thing was, so we meet. And it was around the time where I been trying to make decisions on, I just need to be with somebody else. This is just not going to happen. Like, I prayed, I have asked, I have said, like, I know that you are leading me here. Like, I know that there's something different about this person than anybody I've ever met. Like, there is something wholesome. There's something that I don't feel like this person doesn't care about me or doesn't do whatever, doesn't do all this other stuff. And like, I'm long suffering. So anyway, we're at the fair and, I was with my homeboys and I see her. We see each other from, down the little walkway, probably around the Turkey Legs or something like that. I don't know. Wherever they had the stands this year. And we walk up to each other and, she's speaking to everybody and I'm kind of waiting because I'm like, all right.
Is this after breakup?
This is before.
Okay.
And so we hug. It was the most different hug I have ever had in my life. We've hugged a million times. But this one just like we hugged a little bit longer. And it's like, it was probably awkward for the people that was with us.
But that's why I waited. That's why I waited to talk to him last.
We were just like, it was just this whole thing. And so we walk off. And now she's walking with us because she was supposed to be there on a date at the time. And I didn't find that out until somewhere in this, so we're walking around like, oh, okay, we're talking. And it's like, there's something, I'm just like, shoot your shot, man. Shoot it again. Like, you've shot a million times. Shoot it again. It's just like, look, I don't know what's going on. So we walked around and we get to the Ferris wheel. Again, at this point, we are having a date. I can now say that in my head. We are having a date and it's just people around us. Like, they just walking around with us. So I had enough. I think either you had a wristband or a ticket, doesn't matter. So we get on the Ferris wheel. All of our friends are sitting on one side. She and I are sitting on the other side. And I lean over and I'm like, look, you should be with me. Like, you should.
May I? Oh, sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say, may I? So to that end though, to get to the post breakup, like you were mentioning before, it's really interesting only because I feel like that kind of played a part in how we ended up getting back together. Because I very much had that resolution when I saw him. I was like, oh no, yep. It's you're the one. That's what's happening here. I am not confused and I am not going to wait anymore. Like I made it very clear. And I mean, leading up, everything that led up to the engagement and everything in and of itself was very difficult because it was a lot spiritually going on. I mean, it wasn't just about us reconciling with each other. It was also about us reconciling everything that we'd been through individually over the past few years where we weren't together. It was trying to come to, like, personally, I know it was a lot about self-forgiveness and not punishing myself as much as I do because I'm very hard on myself about a lot of things. I have very high standards in general, but specifically as it relates to me. So there were just things that, self-consciously I didn't feel good enough for or what have you. And so in pursuing him, because I very much pursued him this time.
The second time.
After the breakup, I pursued him.
First breakup, he pursued.
Yes.
Second time you guys get together.
It was
me. It was me. So because I knew a couple things. Like one of them was that he was not going to do it. He's stubborn. And we constantly argued about it initially. And I was like, dude, I don't know why you fighting me on this. Like, you know it, I know it. We need to be together.
He fought you. He fought you, and he fought me because I said, y'all are gonna be back together. And he was like, yes, I'm not gonna be with her.
Not only did she say that, she was like, y'all just, I don't know why y'all just gonna get married or something. Like she
really. It was funny, and I prayed about this.
He was angry,
but I prayed, and I kept, and every time I went to God, I was like, all right, Lord, because before I moved back, I was like, all right, Lord, I'm done playing around. I'm really ready to be with somebody. I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready to do it the way you want me to do it. I'm not gonna do it the way I want to do it. I'm gonna do it how you said do it. And obviously there were bumps along the way.
Yeah.
But I really was committed to that. And so when I came back and we saw each other, I was like, all right, now I know that there's a level of familiarity here. And I would want it to be him, but I don't want to get in the way of whatever it is you're doing. If this is not the person for me, even if I love him, get him out of here. Like, let him meet somebody else. Let me meet somebody else. Let something come along to let us know that this is not what your will is, because
if
I
you don't,
was not about to. Well, either way, I did not want.
Didn't matter what it was. We were not, like, at that point. I knew it, and I knew this in my head. There was no in separation. Like, we would have on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again. Or
and see,
whatever
and I was past
that.
I was not here for that no more. Like I was done with that in my life. I was done with that with other people that I had been with. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not wasting any more time. If this is what you want from me, fine. If not, please tell me, because I'm not gonna invest in this if it's not your will for me. And things just kept happening, like he was saying, in terms of the fair, like just in my life, that forced me to have to deal with him, that forced me to have to contact him, that forced us to have to keep talking.
Or have memories of each other, or like dreams. I told you that I had in terms of dreams of our reconciliation. I had a whole dream about it, and then it wasn't until I think a year after, when we were married, that I was like, "Oh my God!"
And there was a lot of that. Like there was a lot of that happening in our separation too. Like where I would think about things, and and he would just come to my mind at the weirdest times. And so like the Lord had, it was clear to me that the Lord had been involved in this from the beginning.
And we've talked about this even as a couple, and the things that we were searching for in other people.
Yes.
Where we were just literally searching for whatever carbon copy of
what we had,
each other that we could get. And it was just funny because as I look back on it, and I told her, like, I don't have a middle ground. It's something that I'm working on, especially now being preaching and everything alongside my wife who ministers. Was ministering way before I was, but is, you know, that forgiveness and letting go, because like I'm loyal to a fault. Like if I ride for you, I ride for you till the wheels fall off and everything else. Like you literally, like it isn't until somehow like I look over in this car that is like falling apart and you're not sitting beside me that I'm like, oh, so that's what we doing. You know, but the reason I brought up the fair and all these other things is there's just these moments where God is so powerful in our lives. Like, and the thing I think that was most difficult for us is the battles that we've had of purpose. And I think that initially, like God literally put us together to start honing our purposes. I didn't know a lot of what I wanted my purpose to be. I didn't dive more into my writing and start doing more of my art and stuff until we got together, because I didn't have a vocal point for thinking I could or whatever. Whereas with her, it was just like these things are just pumping and coming out of me in new ways. Especially once we came back, like, you know, at that point it's, well, what do I do now? Like, I don't have anything to offer you. I don't have anything that's really great. And like, and even if I'm trying to be all myself and stubborn or proud about something, it's like, I don't know why you came back for me. Like in my head, my self-esteem was damaged at that point.
So what made you decide to propose to her? All of these things are going on. And do you think that affected the dynamics of your relationship after engagement, the way you were feeling?
Well, I had already proposed. Like, and we were already by our standards engaged before we even did that. But
oh, well, yes.
I know, because there was wedding planning before the ring got put on the finger, so that's why I'm asking. Like, so what shifted?
So first, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I think, and that was my birthday, around my birthday that year. So in January, we were already like kind of moving in that direction. I think we had already kind of internally and maybe in a few conversations established that that's where we were headed. We weren't gonna be wasting time. So, by the time we actually got to the moment when he, I'll say proposed, like the second time, because it's the second time in our lives that you proposed to me. Third time. Yes. Third time.
I'm 3 for 3.
I'm talking about in your room. Not the official one. The
well, I was talking about 'cause I
unofficial
proposed
official
in
one.
high school too.
But yes, that's what I'm talking about. That one. So when we were there and he proposed to me, and that was a very difficult thing for me because I felt like that was just such a personal, intimate thing that when people would ask me, how did y'all get kids? I'd be like, I don't want to tell you. Like, I just don't want to. Because, I mean, we weren't doing anything. We were literally just laying there talking to each other. I think we had just got through watching something. And it was the most simplest, but it felt too close to like me. And I was like, no, this is precious for me. I can't give this to other people. That's just, I don't know why, but I'm literally an open book about most things, but for some reason that was like, no, that's not for you. But I think as far as the way that affected our dynamic moving into engagement and then and then the wedding, I don't know. I mean, we had already started pushing. So like I said, initially it was about dealing with our past. Now we were talking about our who we were in the present and who we wanted to be in the future.
Trying to.
Yes. And so once we dealt with what we had to deal with within ourselves individually, and that allowed us to be in a position where we could acknowledge each other as a partner, then it became about, okay, I don't know everything about you. I don't know that I could get with some of the things that you into.
Yeah.
We need to find a way to communicate in a way that's constructive for us. And that was that was the beginning of that, I feel like, where it became a very instrumental part of our relationship, but also it continues. I mean, it continued into marriage. It continues now. I feel like we're better now, but
let me ask a question before you. Do you think before, when your engagement was private and personal between you, you didn't have those same issues and battles, or did you?
Oh no, we definitely did.
We did. I mean, we've always
definitely did.
See, the biggest issues and battles that we've had, and I'll just express this, just in general, because it's something that I think more couples should understand, especially young couples, is we battle with the flesh in between us, and that's been our thing. And you are corrected when you sin and have all these other things. So we were battling with a lot of ourselves and the past all at once. So like within the first 7 days of us being back together, we was already like, all right.
Let's see, I didn't think I had nothing to do with it, but I'm with you.
You see what I'm saying? We was like, all right.
Do you think?
We was all like, all right, here we are. So it's 7 days in, and we feeling like,
day 9. Definitely day 9.
It was
definitely day 9.
For that. Anyway.
Okay. We had been hanging out every single day by this point.
Yeah.
Right. Like, since she got back, like, it didn't even. Anyway.
I'm aware.
And I made choices. My general choice, what I initially told myself was, we're not going to do anything.
Okay.
No, I did tell myself that because it was not me.
No,
who made any moves on this. Because my thing was, a lot of people, because they knew how hurt I was, thought that I should just do what we gonna do. Deuces. Like, I've gotten everything I needed, but it's just like, I know who she was to me. And that's like, I didn't talk about these angry feelings because I didn't like the girl. Like, if I didn't like her, I wouldn't talk about none of that. Like, it wouldn't be so strong at all. But the change is when we started to realize, okay, this is what God wants for us. We are praying about different things. He is sitting both of us down in different scenarios and telling us things about ourselves. We are having issues because we're still making choices. And it was like the moment where I'm like, we have to have a life together. We've never made a choice to have a life together. We've made a choice to kind of love each other in the view or scope of everyone else. We've made the choice where we were dating as we were younger, and that was, we dated in the landscape of, these are your rules. These are the things that you want. These are the things that you would have us do. And of course we skirt those lines because we're kids.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, this is what our relationship is, where we make the choices, where we decide, where we do the things. And there were a million different choices that we were having to now make because that was the only step. Like, we weren't going to sit around and date for another 3-4 years or 5 or 6 trying to get things together. It's like, no, God was telling us you can get those things together. I mean, like, now, will it be a little bit more difficult? Are there things you have to put together? Or do you need to seek me more? Yes. Did I understand that at the time? No.
No.
You know, and I'm not even going to like act like I didn't. But the thing that I'm more so trying to say is when you are dealing with the flesh, when you're dealing with like trying to have like what society considers a standard relationship, you are corrected for it, period. You know, arguments that you're going to have arguments regardless. So I'm not saying not doing this will lighten your load, blah, 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 but it will. You know, arguments were more intense and things of that nature. And they were all kinds of, we just didn't have God in where we needed to have him. So when we are like arguing about something that is the dumbest thing in the world, he ain't nowhere near because we ain't thought about it. Like, now we think about it after when we're apologizing, like, Lord knows I love you. And, like, I don't want to lose you. And, you know, all of these different things. But, like, it's the anxieties of losing something that was meant and God restoring that. And you feeling like you either deserve for it to be restored, and now you're trying to do what you need to do to deserve it, essentially. The past and dealing with all those things that we were dealing with, how do we reconcile those things in a real way? And it wasn't just like you were saying, it wasn't just like we still have, you know, issues and conversations about stuff now. Like I flash out a little bit in my head if I hear about X. That's just me.
I know.
3 years in.
Yeah.
Though, and I do want to make that very clear
Yeah.
too. Like for everything that we're saying, I think it's very important to emphasize the point that we are only 3 years in.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm proud of those 3 years. I mean, we've been dating longer. Obviously, we've been together for 5 years, I think. But you know, couples that have been together for 10, 15 years have a, you know, something, you know, they may have some other wisdom or some other things to say. So I would preface like the information that we're sharing, you know, by saying that if you're a new couple or a younger couple getting married, this may be more beneficial for you than someone who's been in the game. Not to say that they can't,
because we still ain't
get it, but
we still ain't got to y'all wedding. Y'all still
see about that.
Y'all still, we can't even get to the engagement, child. I tried
too. Yeah. I did. I mean, we was all in the marriage at that point.
Well, there's a lot of information that I like that plays a huge part into
where you are now.
We are and what decisions we were making.
Yeah.
Because without all of that stuff that happened in the past, those pivotal moments in terms of stuff like talking about it with her and explaining both sides of it, we don't get here.
That's right. You don't.
You know, because I don't, especially like that day at the fair, the biggest take back of what happened at the fair was just simply, she was in a relationship at the time. And, you know, before I left, she's like, hey, I want to kiss you. And I said no.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we was going to break up anyway. He had stood me up twice.
I knew
it was over.
But at this point, I was like, dude, I'm not doing, because I said, in my honor system, I said to her, I was like, I'm not kissing you if you're not mine. Like, and I don't want to do that to somebody. Because even if you breaking up with him tomorrow, if he found out about whatever today and it hurt him or upset him or did whatever, then I don't want that on somebody, because I would never want that for me.
Yeah.
And it's just like staying firm on the things that we believe in like, because I was like, you're worth so much to me in that sense.
I just want to say that I think this will have to be a part 2 situation, only because if we're going to get into like the actual wedding, I think there are aspects of it that would be important to discuss for any couple, because weddings are stressful, obviously, but also in terms of the planning aspect in trying to figure out how to like cover your partner or communicate with your partner, because there were things that we talked about or I wanted to talk about with him. When I would ask him, he'd just get frustrated with me. Just like, God dang it. Well, I guess I'll make the decision myself. So like, these are like, I mean, those differences in our personalities and the way that we try to deal with issues and change and all that, I think are also important, moving from engagement to wedding and then wedding into marriage.
I was going to ask you if you feel like, earlier, I was going to ask if you feel like the pressure from outside influences added an extra weight.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Most certainly.
That's why I asked you if it was different when your engagement was private between y'all and then when everybody knew.
That part
'cause
wasn't
everything was
the
still
difference.
the pressure was still there regardless, because like you said, within 7 days you were like, well, y'all gonna be together.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
the pressure was there. The pressure wasn't really, it didn't come from like people finding out about the engagement, because they were going to find out anyways.
Yeah,
It
but
really,
the input from people when it's between you.
Yeah.
You do get input from people, but once everybody knows, there is a different level of input from the
various
community
people. That's
at
true.
large.
That's true.
So that's why I was asking.
And we'll
Okay.
lovingly answer those questions on a part 2.
Okay.
So, if you're looking for a blog post on good things such as this, go to BibleStudyGirl.com. You can follow my sister on Instagram at _BibleStudyGirl, on Twitter at BibleStudyGirl2, and make sure you email her at BibleStudyGirl2019@gmail.com. We also got a Facebook, Bible Study Girl. So check us out. Go like, so that way you can get all of the notifications for when a new episode is going live, or blog post is going live, eventually vlog posts, and all these other things that we're building towards. Because again, we're creating an atmosphere that you may walk as we walk. But always remember, it's not you preach, it's not he preach, it's not she preach, it's we preach.
And until we meet again, guys, keep preaching.
Yep, that's what happens when you don't bring the sound back up. So let's try that again. Say it one more time.
And again, guys, keep preaching.